Okay, so this is an interesting one that we've got today. We've got a young woman called Kerry, and she's going to share something with you that I think you'll appreciate. You'll like this. So, I think in life we all just plod on, don't we? We just survive. We go to school. We pay attention. We do well at school. We sort of have a vision of what we want to do, and then you go to university, and then eventually you get your grade, and maybe if you work hard enough you'll get there. You'll get to the fruit of labor. You'll get what you want in life. But the truth is, it never really is what you want. And when you get to the top, you start to realize, oh, it's an illusion, isn't it? It's not really. It's got no substance to it. And that's something that I experienced. I worked for a corporate company, and it took me a long time to get there. And when I got there, I thought, is that it? But again, that was my story. But Kerry's going to share her story with you. Now, you'll like this because this will inspire you. And what she did will literally blow your socks off. So let's get cracking. Let's get Kerry in. We're going to find out what her story is, starting right now.
Analyzing the news.
Okay, so we've got Kerry here with us. This is not live, but it is not edited. In other words, we're not cutting anything out. So if we make mistakes, don't worry about it. It's just a nice conversation. So hello, Kerry. How's things?
Good. Yeah. On a damp day, it's good.
So are you in England at the moment?
I am.
Now,
Yeah, I'm at home.
that's not like you, is it? You're usually roaming around the world.
Yeah, and the plan was never to be in England in the winter, but I've kind of messed it up this year, but we'll get it sorted out again.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So we're going to go into this story. This is interesting, right? So I want you to tell me what this is about in a nutshell, and then we're going to go deep into it.
All right, so this is my escape from America story, really. I grew up in England, but I ended up going with my job and working for 20 years for the pharmaceutical devils in America, and just didn't feel like this is what I wanted to be when I grew up, even though I was about to hit 50. So I decided to just stop doing all that and change it all up and go sailing around the world.
You say it like, oh, just decided to go sailing around the world like you do. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously this is deep. That's why I'm going to have to slow you down. Okay, so we're going to start from the beginning. So in a nutshell, you were doing a job. You worked very hard for it. It didn't just come to you. You obviously had to pass all your degrees. I imagine you've got all sorts of qualifications to get to that level because you were pharmaceutical executive. Is that right?
Yeah, I was a vice president for a drug development company, and
Wow.
I like to think that I put the vice in vice president because I really wasn't the mold that they were looking for, to be honest.
Right. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the big picture. We're going to start off from the beginning. Okay. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about when you were at school. So did you know what you wanted to do when you were at school? Did you know this was the outcome?
I thought I wanted to be a
Analyzing
drug rep.
the news.
Ignore that. Bit of a Sarah thing. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
I thought I wanted to be a drug rep. I love biology. I love science. Actually, I really wanted to be a presenter on Tomorrow's World, but Maggie
Ah, yeah.
Philbin got the job.
I used to love that. Remember that Tomorrow's World?
Love that. Yeah.
They got
So
it
that
wrong
was
though, didn't they? They didn't mention anything about AI. They didn't say the world was going to be like this.
didn't get it right very often.
No, definitely not.
But actually, one of a project that I did for my biochemistry degree featured on Tomorrow's World, and that's where I was like, "Oh, this is what I want to do. This would be great."
Yeah.
But it didn't work out, so I didn't have the skill set to work in a lab. I'm terrible. I don't follow rules or instructions very well, so
Yeah.
following a scientific method wasn't really up my alley. So, and I looked terrible in a lab coat and safety glasses
Yeah.
and stuff. I was like, this is not what it's going to be. So I thought I wanted to be a drug rep or something like that, but I ended up getting into research and development, which was pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Right. Okay. So was this sort of was this your passion, or was just this something that was kind of expected of you? You just thought, well, I'll go down that route.
Oh, no, I think what my driving force was I really wanted to leave home and um, get away from my family
Yeah.
and really just set myself up and try and be successful. I was really ambitious because I wanted to prove them wrong somehow, like
Yeah.
I've really got what it takes to be a go-getter and achieve something with my life. So I think I was driven more by trying to prove people wrong because they didn't really have high expectations of me.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, you certainly proved them wrong. So let's. Well, why can we talk about that part? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Because this is where the seed was grown, isn't it? This is where it come from. Because when we go into this, believe me, this is going to get big, right? We're just playing at the moment, right? We're starting from the beginning. So there's you. Your reasoning behind it was not really desire that this is for me. It's to prove you wrong because they didn't believe that you were going to mount to anything really. They didn't have high
Yeah,
expectations for you, and that
yeah, yeah.
that sort of right. Okay, well, so why do you think that was then? Was that your parents that were doing that, your siblings,
It
or
wasn't my dad so much, but I mean, he was that was a generational thing where that people didn't expect much from girls, you know.
yeah,
My mum desperately wanted me to find a husband and just be a get out of her house, basically.
yeah.
And stop having to be responsible for me. So she didn't support me going to university or any of that thought things. She thought it was a big waste of time.
So,
Yeah.
so what did your mum do then? What was her thing?
She was like the movie script for An Officer and a Gentleman, where
Yeah,
they grow up in a dodgy little town in
mm,
Scotland and all everybody wants to do is marry an officer. And so
right,
she was my dad when she was 18
yeah,
and got out of there. And I think that's what she thought success looked like.
yeah,
Get yourself a husband
yeah.
and do all for yourself kind of thing. Yeah.
It was like that back then. That's the thing. Generations are different. There's different expectations, but back then, it was different.
Yeah.
You get the whole objective is to get married, get a mortgage, have two, three kids, settle down, go to church. Right? Was that it? Okay.
I know, I know. I
But
know. That wasn't going to be enough for me, that's for
no,
sure.
yeah, because there's certain people in the world. Obviously, you're one of them. You don't fit the mold. People who fit the mold, they can adapt. They go, okay, I'll do that. Yes, I'll behave myself and I'll do what's expected of me. But then there's people like you who are like, there's something in me that wants to express itself, right? And I can't ignore it. Now people say, oh, you're being naughty, but you're not. You're being yourself, and you're one
Well,
of them people.
just um, not so much a rebel, but just, pig-headed and
Yeah,
someone who wouldn't do as they were told, like,
yeah.
"Oh, we've told you this is what you're supposed to do, and you're just this little pain in the arse who won't do it, do what everyone wants you to do."
Why do you think that was though? Why do you think you were like that? Because you weren't doing anything wrong. You were just challenging what was being expected of you. Why do you think
Mhm.
that was?
I don't know. I think that's innate personality. I was just
Yeah,
like that.
it's just the way
Yeah,
you are, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
very good trait to have, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. Well, it was quite trendy to be a yuppie and a feminist
Yeah,
at the time. I just
yeah,
wanted a massive, great big cell phone and a princess di haircut and a
yeah.
company car.
So when you were telling your parents this is where I'm going in life, this is what I want to do, what was their opinion about your lifestyle choices or your
My mum thought it was a waste of time.
yeah,
She came to my graduation and said something along the lines of, "Well, it's all very well, isn't it? But, I still think you would have been a nicer person if you got a job at the bank."
yeah,
You know, it was like, I don't know why you're doing any of this.
yeah,
Um, yeah, but once I got going, I was, they helped me out. They helped me,
Yeah.
find a house and settle in, and all those things that your parents do for you. So they got onto it in the end. But I think my mum just never got me
Yeah.
ever. Yeah, I was just so unlike her. I wasn't interested in shopping, wasn't
Yeah.
interested in outfits. I wasn't desperate to find myself a rich bloke, and she just couldn't get that I wanted to do these things for myself.
And what about your dad? Was he kind of the same mindset as well as your mother, or?
No, I don't think he felt the same way, but he was quite intimidated by her and he wasn't really allowed to have his own opinions.
Right. Oh, so she was the rule of the
Yeah,
roost.
she was a bit of a dominant one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I just a sidetrack. I remember that I had this teacher at school, and they were like, they sounded similar to your mum. They were very, oh, you've got to do this, do that. This is blah blah blah, and that's what they believed. And I used to think he's so narrow minded. But she was a nice person. But she couldn't believe anything, because when I was at school, she said to me, she says, "What do you want to do when you're older?" I said, "I don't know. I'll be a millionaire." And she went, "Well, it's not really realistic, is it?" I went, "Why?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I said,
No,
"Why? I don't understand." But
no.
she was like, "You can't do things. Life doesn't work like that." And I'm thinking, doesn't it? In my reality, it does, but in hers, it didn't. But I'm a kid. I didn't know. So I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to, like you, I'm going to have this, that, and the other. And she's still at the school. And I went to see her. I did a talk at the school because of my story anyway. And I did a talk to the school. And I went, hiya, Mrs. Morrison. That was her name. She's still there. And I said, oh, she said, you haven't changed at all. And I was talking to her and she hadn't. And then she put a hand on me, right, on my hand. She went, I'm really proud of you. And I said, I told you can do anything you want. And she sort of got
Mm.
teary. She went, I know. And I knew then. She sort of said it without saying it. She goes, that's who I wanted to be. But
Oh,
knowing that she's been conditioned by her parents to be a teacher and play it safe. And I said to her, I said, do you know what they say about teachers, Miss Morrison? She said, what? I said, they say those who can't teach. That's why I never listen to teachers. Because if they're teaching something, they can't do it themselves. And that was sort of my psychology. I thought, you can do anything you want. You literally can do anything you want. But again, I saw this sadness in her. She was content with her life, but you knew she didn't like what you're gonna tell us in a minute about what happened with you. She didn't fulfill and satisfy her life to 100%. She sort of played it safe, and now she's an old woman. And now, okay, you didn't get the best life out what you could have really. And again, because she was conditioned, because she was frightened of what other people thought of her, because she was told it's impossible, it's not for you, like your mum said to you. But again, that's what's going to be so good about this interview. It's because once you find out what happens, it'll blow your socks off. Right, so you didn't listen to that people's opinions, really. You listened to it.
oh, I did a bit there. I mean, now I think life's about having no regrets.
Yeah.
You've got to have no regrets, and it's a real good driver. And I have a 26-year-old son, and he was a really good little soccer player. And rather than say you can't do something, I was like, no, you've got to just follow it, because you don't want to look back on your life and go, I wish I'd tried that. Wish I'd tried that. So I had this big regret um, when I first started work, and I had my student debts, and I'd just got a mortgage, and I was just getting all those things that were really, I thought were important together. Um, I got asked to help sail a boat to Fiji. And I thought, oh God, that would be amazing. I've always wanted to do it. But I convinced myself I couldn't, because I had this proper job, and I had a mortgage, and I had student debts, and I and upsetting my parents by not having a job already. And the idea of me just flitting off on a boat was, it just seemed like a dream that I always wanted to do, but I couldn't fulfill it at the time. So I spent about 25, maybe 30 years thinking I'm going to do that one day, but I'll do it on my own 2 feet. I'm going to do it for myself rather than just be a crew because I don't think the guy that invited me along was really asking me for my sailing skills. You know what I mean?
It's interesting you say that because we're all human, aren't we? We can all resonate to what you're saying. That idea of, well, I'll do it later on in life. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it. It's when I'm ready. I'll do it. It's like saying I'm miserable now, but I'll be happy. I'll choose to be happy later on. But
Yeah,
I'll do it
yeah.
later. I'll go on a diet tomorrow. I'll start later. But and again, everyone does that because in a way they're afraid, aren't they? Well,
Yeah.
should I really be doing this? That doubt in the mind. Should I?
Mhm.
And then even
Mhm.
your mum and dad, and you think, well, they've got no influence on. They do, and you're like, maybe they're right. Should I? Am I being a bit silly
Mhm.
sailing a boat? Should I? And then you sort of talk yourself out of it, and you're like, oh, I won't
Yeah,
do it then.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what happened at first, right? You sort of took a step back and you thought, I'll do it later. But then what happened later? What happened next?
Well, so then I did all the normal life stuff. So I got married, had a kid. Um, I moved to America because my job kept dragging me over to America all the time, and I felt terrible leaving my baby behind. So they convinced me that rather than quit, I should actually move to America, and then I wouldn't have to travel so much, and I'd be there all the time. So we moved to a lovely town in North Carolina, right on the beach, called Wilmington. And the cost of living and everything was so much better than we were living just outside Winchester. And so it was, you could buy a really big house for the same amount of money as your Barrett house in Winchester. And we ended up buying a beautiful place on the water with a boat slip, um, and buying a boat and keeping a sailboat at the bottom of the garden. So it was a really special place to be. It was lovely.
And when you're living and working in America, then what's your job title? What's your position?
So I started as a director when I
Mm,
first went over, and then I worked my set way up to, I was there for 20 years.
wow.
So yeah, yeah. So I made my way up to this vice president job. And my son, I got divorced. I kept the boat and the house. I had a stay-at-home husband, so I bought him a house. And then it was just me and my boy, um, in this big house.
Yeah,
And I was just getting ready to be an empty nester when he went off to university. I was like, well, what am I going to do with myself? I can't rattle around in this big house now.
yeah,
I need to do something else with my life. And I'd always wanted to sail. I'd always wanted to cruise around. They used to have this magazine, and it was called Cruiser's World. And there was a guy that wrote an article in it every month, and he called himself the Minister of Rum. And he just used to sail around the Caribbean and have sponsored events by whatever the rum company, what the local rum was of that island. And
mm.
so I thought, that's what I want to do when I grow up. I want to be the minister of rum in the Caribbean.
So what age are you now, or when this is happening, when your children are starting to leave?
So I dreamt about being the minister of rum for a long time, but then when my son was 17, 18, so this was, and I would have been 47, 48
Right.
at this point in my life. Yeah.
Okay. So how are you in yourself now? So you've got this job, good job.
Oh, sorry, my telly's just doing something weird. I'm gonna have to switch
Oh,
it off.
it's turning into a haunted
Yeah,
ghost story.
it's just started playing a beach.
That's AI, that isn't it? It's always listening.
Listening in, decided I want to be on the beach.
Yeah,
I'll just go
so
and switch it off.
yeah, switch on. Turn it up. Turn the music up. That's weird, that isn't it?
It's
There
good
she
that.
is.
That's weird.
She's back in.
Sorry.
That's the angels
Okay.
talking to you. No, no. It's weird, that isn't it? There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So, what are you? What's your status at the minute? Because you were married. Are you?
Yeah. It's a fun few years of my life.
Yeah,
When I got divorced, I I just found my freedom. It was
yeah,
like nobody's telling me what to do, what I can and can't do. And I just had the best years of my life. I was lucky enough that my best friend, she went through the same thing a few years after me,
yeah,
and we just became partners in crime,
yeah,
almost Thelma and Louise, just having a good
yeah,
time.
yeah,
She ended up moving into my basement for a while when her divorce was going through,
yeah,
and we ended up being kind of like a new little cohesive family. I had one boy, she had three, but we all lived together in this big house, and
yeah,
it was really fun. So I did that for until I quit my job, and I quit my job in 2019. I was 49,
yeah,
and um and I went off sailing around the world, and I had a really lovely steady boyfriend who was a presenter on morning TV.
yeah,
But I just knew that he didn't have the sense of adventure and the
yeah.
thing that I did. So I ended up, yeah, going off and sailing around the world without him.
Good. It's called enjoying yourself, isn't it? And some people don't know how
Yeah.
to do that. You find that, don't you? I know you're not like that, but a lot of people, their happiness is determined by other people. So, but you're different. You're like, well, I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to enjoy myself. I don't need someone
Yeah.
else to.
I mean, you have loads of self-doubt when you do something like that, and
Yeah,
lots of people don't believe in you,
yeah,
and they think you're being either stupid or selfish
yeah,
or indulgent.
mm.
They just can't understand why you don't want to just get married and settle down.
Yeah. Because it's not. It's out the norm, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
A little sidetrack. I went to. I'm married. I went to Europe, and I was invited to this wedding, and my wife, she could have come, but she chose not to. And they asked if I'd go, and I went, okay, all right then. And it was more like a stag type of thing. So I'm with all these people, and they're a lot younger than me, and they were getting a bit merry, and they were drinking, and they were having a nice time. But I thought I'm too old for this, and I'm not boring. I like adventure, but I don't want to be sitting
yeah,
getting
yeah,
drunk.
yeah.
So I'm on holiday with all these men, a lot younger than me, and they're on a different level. They're emotionally immature, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're young lads, so they're drinking and what have you, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm supervising. But then I thought, you know what? I thought I'll go off on my own for a bit, and I went to a little cafe and I had a coffee and I was sitting in the sun, and I felt a bit weird because I was on my own then, and everyone was in couples in groups. So I know how you feel, especially a woman. You're on your own. People, are they looking at me funny? And you stick out a little bit, and that's what happened with me. I felt a bit, so I had my phone out, and I was just because I was getting a bit anxious because I was on my own, and I thought I don't want to feel like this. I don't like it. I don't like feeling isolated. I'm going to start talking to people. So I did, and what I did, and you'll know this as well with your experience. I started just to, oh yeah, you're right, talking to people. Before I knew it, I started to meet people who were on holiday on their own. Women like you, men, solo travelers. And I didn't even know that existed. I didn't think, do people go on holiday on their own? Do people actually do things on their own? And the truth is, yeah, millions of people do it. And I asked them the
Yeah.
same
It is
question.
harder for girls, though. I do think it is harder for girls. But
Yeah,
I had, I traveled a lot with my job, and I had to go
yeah,
and see customers in these countries. Like I'd be in Switzerland one
mm,
week, and then I'd be in India another week, and I had to go on my own. And I could either decide to just not see anything of these countries
yeah,
and just do my work, or say, screw it, I'm going to go out and
yeah,
see what this country is all about. I wanted to do a blog at the time. I'm like, this is what single middle-aged women should do if they go to this country on their
yeah.
own. You know?
Did
Yeah.
you find as well, Kerry, that at first it's sort of a bit awkward because you're on your own, and it can get lonely. But then after a while, you become accustomed to it. You sort of get used to this. You get used to only being responsible for yourself, and it's sort of like, oh, I like this freedom. Is that what
Mhm,
happened
mhm.
to you?
I think that if you're the sort of person that is gets to the stage in life, and it takes ages and ages, but you
Yeah,
get to a stage in life where you actually think, you know what, I quite like myself. I
yeah,
mean, yes, I could lose weight, yes, I could get my teeth done, and all those kind of things. But in general, I quite like who I've turned out to be,
yeah,
and I'm confident enough being me now.
yeah,
um, People like talking to people like that because they're not worried that you're just going to be a Klingon kind of person. And if they
yeah,
talk to you, then you're going to follow them around all week,
yeah,
on
absolutely.
holiday or something.
Yeah,
And, so I think once you determine that you're actually okay liking yourself, other people like you
yeah,
too,
yeah,
and I ended up meeting lots of different people in my travels around the world, and I had lots of fun.
yeah,
And that was my guiding principle. It was, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to have as much fun as I can have,
right,
and not let anything stop me having fun. Just because I'm a girl, just because I'm 50, just because I'm on
yeah.
my own, none of that's going to stop me having fun. So I just went for it big time.
And it's like a different world, isn't it? Everything changes. You start to. This is what because I'm similar to you. I've travelled all over the world by accident, though. It wasn't a conscious decision. It just sort of happened. And then you realize that we're all sort of the same. It doesn't matter who you speak to in the world. Everyone's got stuff. Everyone's got stories, haven't they? And you
Yeah,
meet all
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah,
different people with different stories. But do
yeah.
you find this when you first meet someone, a stranger, you might have a preconceived idea of them. You go, oh, they must, and you start speaking to them. You realize, I'm like, oh, right,
Mhm,
okay, I didn't think that was who you are, and
mhm,
it's
mhm, mhm.
fascinating.
It's lovely, but it's also it's got so ruined
Mm,
by politics in
yeah,
America now that, just because somebody has a favorite person that they like to vote for,
yeah,
you've now got to this point where you're like, well, I can't have anything in common with you. And if you can just get past that and actually talk
yeah,
like we used to, when nobody cared who you voted for, where it
yeah,
really wasn't, thing for conversation, then you can find that you're not similar in what you believe about a
yeah,
lot of things, but you have a lot of other things in common that you
yeah,
can enjoy about that person. But
yeah,
it's become so polarized now that you almost like have a visceral reaction now to, okay, well, you're not my type.
yeah.
You know, you don't
No.
vote like I would vote. I'm not going to engage too long in a conversation with you because I'll just get mad.
Yeah, it's that saying, isn't it? People like people who are like them. So, and if we like someone, like a politician, we sort of form that trust with them, even though we've never met them. We sort of rapport with their ideas and their beliefs, and our loyalty sort of sticks to that with them. But again, what you said, it's become very narrow. So we've got a few options. You either pick that side or that side. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's 8 billion people on the planet. So there's a lot more people who can do a better job. We're not getting into politics, by the way, but they're just good actors because we don't know who they are. They act a certain way on the screen, don't they? We know that, right?
Mm-mm.
It's
Well, that's
like
what I liked. Where the first place that I got to after America when I
mm,
started traveling was Australia,
yeah,
and they don't have the same bipolar thing. They all seem to agree that politicians are politicians and they're all as bad as each other, and there's not
yeah,
really that much reason to get your knickers in a twist about it, get on with your life kind of
yeah,
thing. And it was so refreshing to come away from, this really, really polarized society that I was in and
yeah,
just think, oh, good, this is more like back to normal, more like how
yeah.
my brain used to react to meeting people rather than being all on edge about it.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't. It depends about even in England. If certain parts of England, if I went down to London, it's completely people are completely different than they are up north. Just if I walked out now of my house, I'm up north. I'm in Cheshire, so there's lots of horses and footballers and stuff like that, and golf courses. But everyone's very friendly. I could literally go out my
Yeah.
door, and I could just speak to a stranger, and it's normal. I could say good morning, but if I went down to London and I said good morning, they'd be like, "What's your intention?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, no.
Because to here is normal, and this is England. This is only a little island, so it's like you said. If you're in America, people's um, communication levels, how they open up, like you said, the polarized, that narrow mind of thinking, depending on where you are in the world, some are open minded and are embracing. Then others are very yes, yes, yes. And when going back to your job, that world, you had to put your professional hat on. You
Yeah.
couldn't kind of be yourself. You had to put that CEO, boss, executive persona on. So how was that for you? Because you're obviously a very open, wear your heart on your sleeve, but in a positive way. You're not vulnerable. You're not nice. You're not soft, right?
No.
But you
I
can
don't
tell. You
think
can
many
tell.
people would get one over on me. I
Oh,
hope
they
not.
can't.
Yeah.
They can't. Is remember Columbo from the 80s? Remember Columbo, that detective?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He used to act thick, right? But he wasn't.
Mm.
And that's how he used to
Hmm.
get the cases. My friend's a detective and I know him, right? He's very intelligent, but he acts dipsy and stuff like that. But he's really smart. And he's so good at his job because he always gets them because the people that he's interviewing, he's not aggressive. He's like, and they sort of think, oh, I'm in control, and he wants them to think that, and then he'll present the evidence, and then he's got them, and they don't see it coming. And I think I'm not analysing you, sorry,
That
but
was my MO as well, to be
yeah,
honest. I played the bimbo really well.
yeah,
And a lot of me likes bimboing. It's
it's
fun.
good. You gotta have a
Yeah, so
laugh.
you can have much more fun as a blonde ditz than you have if you're trying to be a serious,
Yeah,
person all the time. But yeah, that means that people aren't expecting you to,
yeah,
stand up in court and win the
yeah,
case sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. So it's with you. This is what I know we're going to get into the traveling, but how it changed you as a person or made you more of who you are. Because, like you said, you seem to be one of these people that you just you want to be yourself, right? And you're more drawn to that side of yourself, not the perception of what your parents think. You want to, because someone who goes traveling the world, they're a free spirit. Is that the word? Is that what we would use? Someone who thinks, you know what? I'm just gonna be myself.
Yeah. Don't put boundaries around yourself. I think that's my general belief is that people shouldn't tell you that you can't do stuff.
Yeah.
Shouldn't like limit yourself.
Hmm.
And I don't think I could have done that if I was married.
I don't want
Got
to talk about
some
your
care
husband.
about and stuff, but once you're on your
Yeah.
own, then you can just do that.
When you were in that past relationship, because it was it very controlling? Because you seem to be the strong one, but still,
Um, I think yeah, we sailed together. I've got a thing for sailors.
yeah.
And so yeah, I really enjoyed sailing with him. We were great on a boat, I thought, until we weren't. But on land, we really weren't a good
Right.
combination for each other at all. So when we were sailing, he was the more experienced sailor.
Yeah.
He used to really try and put me down. He didn't like my confidence getting up on the boat.
Right.
And when we got divorced, and I said I wanted to keep the boat, and I was going to be the one that was going to skipper the boat, and I
Mm.
learned to sail her on my own and all the rest of it. I think he couldn't wait to see me fall on my feet or on my
Right.
face. He was thinking, oh, she's going to come a cropper with all this. And
Yeah.
that's another example of I had to prove him wrong. I could do this.
Why do you think that was? Do you think he just had a big ego? Uh,
Um, no, I think my career was taking off and everything was going,
mm.
in that direction where I was being a little bit more successful and
Yeah.
he didn't like that. Yeah.
No, you see that a lot, don't you? Because if for a man as well, we'll say not a man, a boy, because a man would say, "Go on, he'd encourage you," but certain men they get they get jealous, don't they? They think, well, she's doing better than me, and I'm the man. I should be better than her. I should be
Yeah.
stronger. That's this sort of perception that a lot of men have, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to find your equal though, don't you? That's
Yeah,
how I think I feel. And if you've got a guy that feels the same, like I want to find my equal
yeah,
rather than I want to find somebody who, adores me and looks up to me and thinks, oh, you're so
yeah.
special. I have found my equal now. It's really lovely.
You're
So on all my
equalizer.
adventures, I've ended up I'm engaged. I've ended up
Oh,
all happy and settled in. But with a sailor, and we've got the same dreams. We want to take our boat. It's in the Mediterranean at the moment, and we want
oh,
to go off sailing all over the place together. So, but yeah, we're on the same level,
yeah. You're in
No,
thing. Yeah,
yeah.
I always without getting all lovey-dovey, but I always look at it like this. Some people, a relationship is the woman loves the man or the man loves. It's a different level. But then some people come together and they're in love, and in love's when they're completely connected on this. Like you and your partner, you're in love. It's like I
Yeah.
said to my wife once.
And you
Come,
can't be looking for it.
no,
I
you
was
what
the
you can't.
opposite. Did
Yeah,
not want that. I was having the time of my life. I like to think of myself as like an international playgirl, just going around doing all these
yeah,
yacht races around the world and partying with yachties and
yeah,
just living the dream. And I didn't want to settle down.
yeah. But he,
And then you find someone and it just happens.
so,
Yeah.
but now because you're now with your partner, now it's you've got memories you can share together. So if you look at
Hmm.
something beautiful on your own, it's lovely. But you look to the side of you, if you've got no one to share it with, it's But now you've got your
Yeah.
partner. It's like, oh look, we're looking at this together, and then you can reminisce and go, remember that time we saw the shooting stars or the sunrise or the dolphins. That's the only thing I don't like about traveling alone because I'm like, I'll look at something amazing, and then when I come back home and I didn't share it with my wife. I
Hmm.
only shared it
Hmm.
with myself. So I'm like, oh, that's the only thing. Again, but now you've done your own thing, so you know you can survive, and yeah, I'm all right. But now I can bring someone into my life, and we can. It's like watching a film, watching reality together. We're experiencing this world together, and we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it and analyze it and think, oh, okay, and it's nice,
yeah.
isn't it? And you're
Yeah,
engaged as
lovely.
well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we bought a boat and we're just having the best time because um I'd done a lot of sailing by the
Yeah,
time I met him. He's done a lot of sailing, but neither one of us um is, so cocky that they think they don't need the other one's help, Like
yeah,
we're everything's a team
yeah,
and we do better when we're solving problems together and working as a team. And we have
yeah,
like a mantra that nobody got on the boat on purpose to screw it up,
yeah.
That was nobody's intention. So there's no point in shouting at one another or getting mad if something goes wrong, because even if someone's to blame, they never did it on purpose,
No,
you
absolutely.
know? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
let's
it
look at
works.
the boat, right? Because a lot of people watching this, they might not have ever been on a boat before, especially sailed. So what's the reality like? You can't just jump on it and think, "Oh, come on, let's go." Well, there's a science, there's a responsibility. You've got to be on the ball. You can't let your guards slip. You're running a machine basically. So what's daily life like living and sailing on a boat?
Oh, well, you can do it different ways.
Mm.
You can definitely do it different ways. So, um, I sailed in a round the world race, and that's a
Wow.
completely different experience to cruising around with your other half on a boat in the Med. So when you're racing, you're a team and you're pushing the boat to go as fast as it can, and everybody's got a role, and the whole thing works on shifts and a shift system, and um, everyone's got their job and have to try and make the boat go faster, and assess the weather and the competition and the tides and all those sorts of things. So that's one level of it, which I find really, really exciting. I love racing.
Mm.
And then, but with my other half, we're just floating around in the Mediterranean on our boat, thinking, well, which island should we go to today? What does the wind direction look like? how long will it take us to get there, and where should we stop and have a swim, and when do we need to go and fill up with more wine?
So come on, we need some bit of drama now. So tell me some stories that you've been on the boat and things don't always go well, like the weather or something's happened, or there's been a situation that you felt a little bit trepidation or something, or you've a situation that's got a bit got you a bit anxious or nervous, because at the end of the day, it's you are vulnerable. You're out in the middle of the sea in a boat, so things can go wrong.
Yeah. See, that's when my adrenaline fires up, and I love it when a big gust comes and you've got to get the sails down quick, or you've got to put a reef in, or you've got to try and handle like a big stormy situation all of a sudden. I that's when, my adrenaline kicks in. And I think I feel like that because I've been on big boats sailing in really, really stormy conditions and really huge waves and stuff like that. And I know the boats are built to handle it. So um, I'm trying to think of an example of when we've come a cropper. We started dragging our anchor in Greece in the middle of the night in this very packed little anchorage that was full of super yachts. And so yeah, that was quite hairy, trying to work your way around all these boats and reset your anchor in a howling gale. Um, but yeah, we did it, and you feel very, very chuffed with yourself afterwards, even though it was not exactly the most fun night you've had at the time.
Have you ever experienced something that you didn't expect? So, for example, you think you're in control, everything's all the boxes are ticked, you've checked everything, you've got enough wine, enough fuel, everything's
Uh,
you're in control, and you're sitting there, and then suddenly, oh, what's this? And unexpected things happened.
So luckily, in the 3 years we've had our boat called Naughty Naughty, with touch wood, we've not had anything really terrifying happen to us. Um, I think my other half, he's the more cautious one out of the two of us. He likes to plan and prep and not put himself into hairy situations. But when I was sailing on the race boat around the world, we got to this spot just north of the Shetland Islands, and the waves were huge. The wind was about 35, maybe gusts of 40. So we were all reefed up and we had to put a jibe in, which means that the wind's basically coming from behind you and you've got to change your sail angle so that you can go in the direction you want to go. And so jibing is quite a treacherous thing to do in really hairy conditions. And there was, I think there's probably 12 of us on deck. We're all in our foulies. We've got only our little eyes poking through the gap between the hood of your rain jacket and the Velcro around your nose to keep you warm. And we went up this wave and then we jibed, but nothing happened. And we just sat at the top of the wave for ages. And then eventually the sail caught and but we turned on this wave. And instead of surfing down it, we just fell off it. And it must have been like a double-decker bus height. And we just dropped, like if you're in an aeroplane and your
Oh,
stomach just in the turbulence. And yeah, we just dropped out of the sky. And yeah, that was pretty scary. And then we just shot up the next wave and it was all fine, but everybody's eyeballs were just sticking out.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably the hairiest thing where you just didn't know what was going to happen because you're used to going up and down waves, you're not used
Yeah.
to just dropping.
But with
But
you, do you know,
yeah.
you said you kind of thrive in stressful situations. So when that happened, does your reptilian brain sort of kick in and like, right, okay, and you become super vigilant and aware?
Yes, and
Yeah.
your adrenaline's rushing for ages. It takes ages to come back from that, like everything's just tense and you're just yeah, you've got so much adrenaline running through your eyeballs, you can't blink.
So what type of boat is it? So I can get an image up, so I can put it up on the screen. What model is it?
So these are the clip around the world boats. So if you can find an image from Clip Around the World, I was on a boat called Qingdao. It was gorgeous. It was a big 70-foot yacht with a red hull and a big golden dragon on it. And we were sponsored by the Chinese sailing city of Qingdao.
Right. Okay. I'm just getting some images up now. It's just so we can sort of get a visual aspect of what it is. Oh, here we go. I've got a few images here. I'm going to put one up. It should come on the screen now. Can you see
Yeah,
that? It's
yeah, uh-huh. Hey Long Bay, they were our main competitors. That's who we had to beat.
all right. So this is the
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of boat that is it just you and your
Yes.
partner that are on this boat?
No, this was the race I did. This was the
Right.
race I did. The boat that we have now, you can look up. It's called a Naughty Cat.
Naughty cat. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I say, this
And
is not being
catch.
edited. A naughty cat. Right. I'll see if I can find that. So just carry on talking while I'm just having a look. I'm multitasking here.
So yeah, so this boat's never going to win a race. It's it's beautiful, it's beamy, it's got loads of space, but it doesn't go very fast. It's not designed for speed like the one that you just had up there.
Right. Let's have a look. I'm looking at all these images. Right. Okay. Tell me if I don't know if this is the right one, but is this a naughty
No,
cat?
that's a catamaran. No, 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 that's a catamaran. Ours is just one hull. Um, it's Naughty Cat 331.
Right. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's see if we get an image of it. Naughty cat 331.
Yeah,
I'm going to be a boat expert at the end of this.
there you
Okay.
go.
Right. What about this? Is this it?
Yeah, that's
There.
just like her. That's it. That's
Okay. So
it.
I'll just put that to the side just so you can kind of see. Wow.
And we do find just the two of us on there.
So
It's perfect.
how many can that sleep? Is it just
So you can fit two in the master cabin at the back, two in the full peak cabin at the front, although that's a bit of a squish.
hmm,
And then it's got another bed that you can make up in the like in the dining area. So you can make that into another bed,
and
another double bed.
is it comfortable actually because it's small in comparison to a
Mhm.
house? What's it like being so close together and obviously you're hyper vigilant and alert all the time because you're playing with nature, aren't you? What's that like?
Um, I don't think it's small. I moved from a six-bedroom house to a boat smaller than that, and I lived on
Wow.
it on my own.
Wow.
So when my son went off to university, I sold the house to fund my,
Yeah.
yeah, quitting my job and going off and doing my own thing. And I loved living on a little boat. I loved it because living in a big house is just headaches and headaches and
Yeah.
headaches.
Yeah.
And especially if you're on your own, you're in charge of making sure someone's coming to clean the pool and do the garden and
Yeah.
clean the house. And then when the air conditioning goes screws up or the dishwasher fails, or whatever it is, you're having to deal with all that all the time. And yeah, so it
Yeah.
used to take me 40 minutes to clean the whole boat.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Can
It
imagine
was
what it's
lovely.
like. It's just you just go where you want. You're just free, aren't you? You're just riding nature. You're just unreal.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
don't need
yeah,
to plan anything. You just do what you like, and it's that must be so liberating. And
yeah,
there's no crime because you're in the middle of the sea. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
no.
yeah.
Have you ever had any incidents that you've
Time
been?
that it
Go on.
was vulnerable was North
Yeah.
Carolina, where I lived, is notorious for the hurricanes
Right.
hitting it.
Yeah.
So during the hurricane season, which runs from June right the way through November, you could get hit by a hurricane. And then you've got to find out, well, okay, well, I've got to leave this boat.
Yeah.
I've got to go find somewhere safe to be. So yeah, that's when the whole freedom thing becomes a bit of a nightmare. And so that's why I've ended up with a house again. But for a long time, I was unemployed and homeless, and it was the best feeling ever,
Yeah.
having none of those responsibilities.
Yeah. It's true that it's because you can be trapped by possessions. Like having a house, it's responsibility. It costs money,
Hmm.
but with a boat, it's just it has to be fixed there and then. You can't wait
Yeah,
for
yeah,
someone to
it does.
come. You've got to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. And have you ever had any like spiritual experiences or like a nirvana or an awakening? You've been there, and you've sort of had whoa, and you've just felt something or unworldly or anything like that.
No, but the reason I finally got the courage up to go through
Mm.
with, following my dreams and stuff was a tarot card reading.
Yeah, you said this in the book, so here we go. Let's let's say
So
this.
yeah, I think you just need somebody to tell you it can happen,
Yeah.
and believe in it.
Mm.
And this the only person that ever said, yeah, you're gonna go and do these things was the woman at the tarot card place.
And what did she say? What was the words?
So she said, you need to um, follow your dreams, that you need to learn the regulations. There's a lot of, studying and think stuff you have to do. You need to get savvy and all that. And then you have to ignore the naysayers. I remember her saying, ignore the naysayers and stop worrying about your finances. It's going to be fine. And then she said, and you need to tell your story because it'll inspire others, which is why I wrote my book.
Okay, so let's look at this now. So there's you. You're doing well in life. You've got a good job. You're winning a lot of money. It's hard work, but you've worked hard and you reap what you sow, right? You've
Yeah, yeah.
proved your parents wrong. You've got children. You've made it. You've had relationships. You've learned from them. You know yourself. You know who you are, which is the best thing you could ever know, really. You formed a relationship with yourself. You can be on your own and be happy. You're content. You have an inner peace. You're basically laughing, right? But obviously, it wasn't. This wasn't easy. The way you're talking about it, it's like, oh, it's Daddy. Obviously, it isn't. That's why you've written a book about it. So, oh yeah, it wasn't. There was complications. There was swings and roundabouts. It's not as easy as you think. But the
You can
reality
see where
is,
people don't do it because
yeah,
everything's set up to tell you not to,
yeah,
just be normal, just be normal.
yeah,
From the outside world, there was nothing wrong with my life. Why on earth would I
mm,
mess it up?
yeah.
You
And
know,
why
and
was that? Why
get
did you?
on.
What was that? They say, oh, it's a midlife crisis. It's not.
Yes. So
It's not,
it's
is
that,
it?
I mean, it has a lot of those features, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but it's not. It's more than that because I think what's happened, you become mature and you've come wise enough to realize, wait a minute, I'm not getting, like we said before, I'm not enjoying my life here. I'm playing it safe. Some people do that,
Mhm.
but you don't. You're like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to be uncomfortable. You can't get more uncomfortable than getting a boat and saying, I'm going to travel on nature's seas. You can't get more vulnerable than that because you're not in control. You really have to know what you're doing, but you've done this. So, what I know you're saying about your childhood, you're always kind of like that, but this is kind of extreme. It's extreme weathers. There's hurricanes. You're on your own. There's vulnerability. Things can go wrong. What's that driving force, Kerry, inside you? Because it's more than a mental state of mind. This is something bigger. What is it inside you that gives you that strength, that passion, that determination, that focus to say, I'm going to do it? And what is it? What's the magic? What's the secret?
It stems right back from saying no to that trip to Fiji in the very beginning,
Right. Okay.
and not doing that and regretting it and thinking, I'll never miss an opportunity like that again. If the opportunity comes, I'm gonna
Yeah.
grab it.
Yeah.
And, I yeah, I think that was it. I knew all that time that I was living in America that I was like borrowing some life. I never felt like
Yeah.
this is the one I
Yeah.
wanted. This is like I'm borrowing it,
Yeah.
and I'm just like renting this life for a few years, and then I'll go and be me and do what I really wanted to do. I
Yeah.
had a beautiful house. I was swimming up and down in my pool with palm trees around it and my
Yeah.
boat at the bottom of the garden, just thinking, this isn't who I am.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't
Just,
this just because it looks perfect.
yeah.
That's not, this isn't who I am. So yeah,
Yeah.
there was always this sense that I was it's not really, maybe it is imposter syndrome. Maybe it's the same as imposter syndrome, but it wasn't just that I didn't feel like I deserved it. I felt like this wasn't what I was, the goal. This isn't what I
Yeah.
was working
Yeah.
towards.
It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
interesting that if we play with that a little bit, right? Because if you look at your story, it's one thing, but the moral of the story is you. Ignore the boat and all the things that you've done. You're the source that it's actually permeated through this reality that you've done. You're the creator of what you've done. So when people are watching this, they'll say, "But how do I tap into that essence of me, that side of me, that fearless, that I amness?" Because you've done it,
Mhm,
and
mhm,
no one
mhm.
can argue with you. No one can argue with you because you've done it.
Yeah, yeah,
You've
yeah.
you've broke you've stepped out the box. You've literally smashed the box. And what is it? Because it's something. It's not intelligence. Not academic intelligence. It's not a mindset. It's something else. It's more Is it an emotional intelligence? Is it awareness? I know you said there's something in you, but what is that? Because that's the key substance. That's the power, the energy, the spirit. What is it? Because that's
Is
the
it? I don't know. What is it? What is it?
yeah.
I think um I think finding yourself in a situation which is not what you had in mind.
Yeah,
I think it's that. You know, I just kept looking around, especially when I loved America when I first moved there, and I
yeah,
have some amazing friends there, and there's some really lovely, lovely, good humans in America.
yeah,
But the guns and
yeah,
the general way that people talk to each other and the anger and the just lack of civility, it just that was what part of it. I don't want to be an American anymore. I made my
yeah,
mind up. This is not where I want to be. Um, and then the sailing thing had been there for forever and ever. And then when I was married, obviously I got to a point where I was like, this is not where I want to be either. So
mm,
I kept finding myself in a situation where I looked at my life and thought, well, now what?
mm,
Now what happens? Now what happens? And
yeah,
so the next now what was when my son was going off to university and I was going to be just on my own in this big house,
yeah,
wondering what's next.
yeah,
So I think you have to come to some realization that what if you look down on your little world
yeah,
and you're not where you wanted to be, you have
mm,
to do something about it. I think
yeah.
that's the driver.
I think a lot of people feel that, but there's always fear, isn't it? It's like you felt the fear. Obviously, we all do, but you did it anyway. But I think what people will take from this, because most people would love to do what you've done, but they'll say, "Well, she can do it, but I can't." But again, anyone can do anything they want. It's what is it? Is it?
Nothing special about me. There's
No,
there's nothing there's nothing. And I hope that's something that comes out in the book because I am vulnerable. I am doubting myself. I am so convinced everyone's tutting and,
yeah,
shaking their head and rolling their eyes about what's this idiot up to now.
yeah,
And but yeah, so you just have to put those people aside
yeah.
and believe in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've got to think. Imagine you didn't do what you did, and you just paid attention to what other people expected of you. What would your
Mhm.
life be like now?
I'd be slogging away for a company that didn't care.
Yeah.
I'd have done another 10 years. I would have picked up a few nice bonuses, paid a lot of taxes on it, and just thought, well,
Yeah.
just stayed on the grindstone. And it took me leaving for me to realize you're so replaceable. You think you're so special, and you
Yeah.
think, only you could do this fabulous job that you're doing, and that they're going to really miss you when you're gone, and you're forgotten,
Yeah.
absolutely forgotten.
That's it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
They,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
smile, don't they? Because you're generating the money, aren't they? You're an asset
Mhm.
until, but you can be replaced. That's one thing I can't stand. The fake, the falseness of it. It's like you said with the garden, when you're sitting there with your palm trees, it looks nice, but it's not really real. It's just and when people are being nice to you at work and giving you a nice bone, are you all right? It's not real. It's not authentic. Again, because as soon as you've gone, you're replaced. But again, when you're out in that sea, it's like it's you, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
it. That's what I love about this. This is why this is why I want to get into that. You're literally playing with God. Right? You can't. There's no ego. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. You have to be super sensory aware of your surroundings all the
Mhm,
time.
mhm, mhm.
I don't
You
want
can't
to.
play on your phone while you're sailing.
No.
Fabulous. It's fabulous. You
Yeah.
cannot sit and play on your phone or watch a YouTube video or just
Yeah.
get sucked into something. You have to keep your
Yeah.
head in the game and exactly what you're doing, and that's what's so nice about it.
And if you found as well, Kerry, because you've done this, you've gone through this, do you look at the world completely different? So you can, I imagine, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I imagine if you're out in this wilderness of ocean and you could literally die at any minute, well, let's be real, you could. All you have to do is fall. And now
Mm.
suddenly you go onto dry land and you're looking at society in the way the world is and they're all cramped together and all these people. Do you sort of just how does that play with you from being your mind being so open and just being in the moment to suddenly being confronted with all this drama and these overpopulated towns and cities, and what's that like?
I don't know if I could ever hold a job down again.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I
it's
get it.
like I look and I think, God, I used to be on top of all this stuff, juggling all these balls,
Yeah,
keeping all this stuff going, bringing up a kid on my own,
yeah,
all that on top of, all the stuff.
mm,
And I just think, God, I don't know how I did it.
yeah,
Because when you are lucky enough to get to a place where people say, what are you going to do today? And the answer is, whatever the hell I like.
yeah. I like
No.
that. Is it your son? You've got a son, is it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
he? Does he come on the boat with you, or?
Like he got into it when I just had my boat when I was living in America, um, and we were in the house together.
Mm,
He could sail it, but he
yeah,
didn't really like to do it. But because the drinking age is 21,
yeah,
and so he used to organize poker nights on the boat with his
mm,
mates, take
yeah.
it out, put the anchor down, and they'd all drink and play
Wow,
poker.
that's great,
So
isn't
I think his experience of sailing is not,
it? Yeah,
getting out into the big ocean, but yeah,
yeah.
just having a good party on a boat, really.
He's not ready yet, though. He's still young, isn't he? But when he gets older, he'll start to appreciate. Okay, I
He
think that's
definitely
what it.
says he regrets that he didn't pay more attention, that he doesn't,
Yeah,
have the confidence on the boat that he should have growing up,
yeah.
with a mum that took him out a long time.
Is it a time thing as well? So if you did what you're doing now when you're in your 20s, would it have worked? Would you have been ready then? Well, because you're older now,
Well,
it's different, isn't it?
I think, I could have got on that bloke's boat and gone to Fiji.
Hmm.
But then what would have happened after that? I'd
Yeah.
have had to come back and get a real life and get a job and do all
Hmm.
those things because you can't, I don't think, well, you can, but it's trickier to sustain that kind of lifestyle.
Hmm.
unless you've got a bit of financial stability behind you. So I had to go through all the job and all that
Yeah,
stuff to get
yeah,
to a place where then I could do it. But I also think you can't hang on too long. Like I retired at 49, which is pretty young,
that is young. Yeah,
you know. Um, and everything was about 2 months before my 50th birthday, but still it counted as
yeah,
49. And I just so glad that I didn't wait
yeah,
because we're still fit enough, me and my other half. We can go and do all these
mm,
things without worrying about,
yeah,
being sick and without worrying about being a granny yet. I don't have,
yeah,
those kind of responsibilities yet.
mm,
And my parents are well, so I'm not worried that I've got to go and look after. So I would say you get a little bit of time, a tiny window where you can spend your fun tokens. You've
yeah,
saved up, and you've saved up, and you've saved up, and you get this little window where you're allowed to just have fun and play with the fun
yeah.
stuff and
Absolutely.
yeah, to make the most of it, really.
And you know your mum and dad now they're seeing all your things that you've said you were going to do is manifested. Do they sort of still roll their eyes a little bit, or they accepted and said, "Okay, you were right"?
Well, my dad says that he won't read my book because it's really saucy and I basically have way too much fun for somebody my age
Yeah.
as I'm making my way around the world. So he kind of rolls his eyes a little bit in terms of, um, yeah, I'm a little bit too, well, he uses the phrase, you can be a bit much for some people, Kerry. It's the phrase he
So
uses for me.
so we missed this bit. So what does that mean when you say saucy and too much? So in the minute we've got this picture, this image in our mind. You've got this woman. She becomes successful. She's an executive of a pharmaceutical company. She's doing all right, and she's still young. She's 49. She thinks, you know what? I'm going to go on a boat. So we think now she's just chilling out, relaxing, um, just being at one with nature. But now you're saying,
Mhm.
"Oh yeah, it's too saucy." I'm like, What sauce? What's this bit? So tell us
So,
about that.
so I ended up with this round the world trip. So I
Mm,
did various different, and there's a lot of sailing, but then there's a lot of partying when
yeah,
you get to the destination. So,
yeah.
and you imagine there's a boat full of people who've all found this freedom from real life, and they're just having the time of their lives. So there was that level of partying, and then I also got onto some other boats and did some big, sailing races and got into that. It's I don't know, it's not a set per se, but it's a lifestyle of people who are just sailing and partying and having a good time. And so yeah, I really, really found my people and I really enjoyed that. And I think you imagine for a while that kind of set, if you like, are impossible to infiltrate, and you have to be, I don't know, you have to be posh and you have to be rich or you have to be something or other to be able to get into this set. And you don't. You just have to be interested in sailing and keen to get on a boat and sail hard. And so I managed to have the best time just, in the Caribbean, sailing around the UK, sailing in Australia, sailing in the Philippines, and just really just having fun. So, and I'd meet different blokes along the way. So the ending of my book has this Mamma Mia ending where you don't really know who I end up with.
So you're still young now, and obviously you're not slowing down. You've only just bloody got started. But if you were going to forecast the next 5 years? What's going to happen now?
So we're keeping the boat in the Mediterranean,
Mm,
but so it's, exploring all the different places you can go around there,
yeah.
Italy, Croatia, Sardinia, Greece, Turkey, all that kind of thing. And then when we've done the Mediterranean, then the goal will be to sail across the Atlantic and go do the Caribbean next.
Wow. And currently
Yeah,
you're back at home in England. So you've
yeah.
got to dwell in England. So what's it like now? Because you're sort of stuck, not stuck, but you're not on the water. So what's it like the world that you're in currently while you're waiting? What's this like in comparison to what's coming?
Oh, so I bought this barn that I'm in,
Mm,
and I renovated it, and I you know ripped everything out and built it again from
yeah.
my way. And so I do like homeliness. I do like the fact of being in a place that I've, made my
Mm,
own and stuff like that. But I don't like it for more than 4 weeks.
right. Yeah. I can imagine that.
Then that's me really pushed to the limit. And I'm like, yeah, no. I've got a lovely community here. I live down on the Hamble River.
Mm,
It's very sailing-ish. There's
yeah.
lots of water-based events and stuff like that. So I love being part of that community and doing all that stuff. But my other half's off in India at the moment, and I'm about to go and meet him next week in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we're still making sure that we're traveling a lot, even if it's not on the boat.
You're like a mermaid, aren't you? You are. It's like you have to get. Remember that film Splash from the 80s?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah,
It's like she
yeah,
can't be
yeah,
out the water for too long or she'll die. She has to
yeah,
get
yeah.
back, and that's what you
Hmm.
are. You're an aqua
Hmm.
woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So our goal is to spend, it'll be April, May, and a
Mm,
bit of June
mm,
in the Med. Come back here July and August when it's too hot, too busy, and it's nice being in England then.
yeah.
And then go back again September, October, and just, do that. And then my parents live in Australia, so
Right. Okay.
um, go over to Australia for the winters in the future and
And you'll
hang
sail
out a
to
lot.
Australia as well.
No, I don't think so. I
One day
don't
you
think so.
will.
One day, maybe.
Knowing
Or
you,
maybe
you
just
will.
get a boat in Australia to have
Yeah.
one over there as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did it. So why not?
Yeah,
Let's just do it. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But that's
yeah, yeah.
really good. It's like we've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. We're just scratching the surface. We're only checking in, but obviously you've written a book about this, and I think it's
Yeah.
350 pages, something like that. So it's pretty
Hmm.
thick. It's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
70,000 words. So that really goes into this.
Yes. It's
And
just the 4-year period where
mm,
I think, God, I've had enough of this. I'm
yeah,
leaving. I'm going to get on and do something else with my life. And it covers me um, joining this racing team, sailing around in this round the world race,
mm,
and then moving back to England. COVID hits in the middle of all this stuff.
mm, yeah,
So the race gets postponed, and we have to decide what else we're going to do with our lives now. And so I go back and live off my boat in North Carolina for a little while, and then just think, no, I'm changing my life again. And
yeah,
I move back to the UK and
yeah.
buy a house here
Do you know
and do it up.
what'd be fascinating, Kerry? If I was you, I'd document it. I'd film it. I'd make like a YouTube video or everything that you're doing. Just film it, because that'd be amazing. But you can't really, can you? Because you're sailing a boat. You haven't got time to get your camera out. But that'd be
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, you'll know if you do that, then you end up with another job, don't you?
yeah, yeah,
So I don't want a job. It's funny, people just think once you retire, they're
mm,
always thinking of things that you can do to
yeah,
make money. And I'm like, well, not really the
yeah,
priority for me,
yeah,
luckily. But I've had people tell me I live by the marina,
mm,
or you could take in washing.
yeah,
Like, no, I don't think I'm going to take in washing,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, there's a misconception. I think, like with me, I'm financially secure because I'm like you a little bit. I don't. It's like I do this because I love people listening to people's stories, because there's a
Mhm.
persona out there that people think that everyone's like dumb and stupid and they're not intelligent. But like there's people in the world that you don't hear about. You have to go and find them, like on boats. There's so many interesting
Mhm. Mhm.
wisdom people who've got an incredible perception of reality, and if you can be around these people, they'll benefit your life. But these people don't sit at home all day watching Netflix. They're out sailing boats, traveling the world. but we're told, oh, they're posh, they're rich, they've got a silver spoon. I'm like, they're not. They're the people who, like you, they know who they are and they don't care what you think and they're gonna do it anyway. That's not
Yeah, yeah.
snobbery, is it? That's someone who's like, I'm just being who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we all need to do, because people like you would not be a very easy person to control, right? Because you know who you are, which is a good thing. You wouldn't be able to be manipulated. If a salesman tried to sell you something, he's wasting his time. You'll be like, just tell me what the product is, how much it is. I don't need you to sell the sizzle, because you know who you are. You're not. I'm talking like analyzing. I'm analyzing you, but it's radiating from you. You know yourself. You know who you are, which is such a brilliant thing to become aware of. But again, there's
Yeah,
people. A lot of people. We got to recognize, Kerry. Most people are scared. There'll be women your age watching this, and they're in a position that they could do what you can do. They want to do it, but they're terrified, and they're looking for that little bit of, what's the answer, Kerry? Tell me what to
mhm.
do, because
I'd just say that when you start along a path of, stepping your toe into something you've never done before,
yeah,
or something that people say that you couldn't do, and you do it, and your confidence gets a bit better, and then your confidence grows and grows as the more you do it. And then you find yourself, there's a bit in the book about when my little dog and I got the oars broke on the tender and we got caught in this rainstorm, and I ended up having to jump in to get the oar and leave the little dog in the
oh,
boat, and then swim the boat and the dog back to the big boat.
mm,
And there was no point I was scared,
yeah,
you know. And the old me would have been thinking, well, who's going to come and save me? Like,
yeah,
who's available to, worry about me or come and, step in and save the day? And the new me knows, no, you don't need anyone to save you. You're just
yeah,
you're just going to swim this dog and this boat to your
yeah.
big boat, and
That's
it's all going to be fine, and
yeah,
realizing how much strength you have that you don't know until you start doing stuff, and then you're like, wow, I've got quite a lot of endurance, and
yeah,
actually I can put up with being like really really cold and miserable for quite a long period of time and I still get through it. Or
yeah,
I can be exhausted and I find a little bit of energy from somewhere that will just finish the job off. And
yeah,
these are all things that you don't know about yourself,
yeah,
and you find out by trying.
well,
And
yeah,
it's really nice feeling,
yeah,
realizing that you don't need saving,
yeah. You don't, yeah.
you know?
It's liberating, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's like being comfortable, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, and you've had
yeah,
to learn to do
yeah.
that. Because on the boat,
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable in the sense that you've got
Yeah.
to, you can't let your guard down at all, right? This is really good. But again, the book's massively more detailed than what we're talking about. So what's this book called that we can
I've
get?
got this.
There it is.
There it is. It's
Sailing
called Sailing
from,
from the
there you go.
Devil.
Bring it
Sailing from the
closer.
Devil.
There you go. Sailing from the devil. Who's
There
the
you go.
devil then? Who are we sailing from? Who are we trying to get away from?
Oh, it's a combo, but it's mostly the farmer devil. It was at a time where, drug companies were doing everything for profits, and we
Yeah.
were poisoning people with opioids. We were, getting them addicted to all kinds of medication
Mm,
for diseases we'd made up. It
yeah.
was a time where I wasn't very proud of the industry. I
Yeah.
felt better about it, to be honest, after they really shook it up to develop the vaccines.
Mm,
And I thought, okay, there are some smart people with some morals in this area, but I used to come home and scrub my skin in the shower
mm.
and just be like, I don't want to work in this industry anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so the devil's mostly, I think, that, but it's a lot about escaping from the gun culture and you know, the
Yeah.
politics of America and that kind of stuff, and just escaping from the nasty side of the world that you just want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, get away from. Yeah.
Well, I like that. So it makes sense. Escaping, running, sailing from the devil, and yeah, brilliant. So where can they get this book,
So it's on
Kerry?
Amazon. It's on Amazon, and if you have the KDP or the Kindle,
Hmm.
it's on all those things with Amazon.
Brilliant. Is there anything else you want to go over? Obviously, we can't go over everything because there's no point buying the book then. Because obviously there's so
Right,
much.
but I think to flog my book, I would say you don't have to be a sailor. It's not
Yeah,
about
it's not
sailing.
about
There's
that.
a lot of sailing in it, obviously, because that was my dream, but it's more about having a dream, following your dream, and it's that's the story far more than it is about sailing. So you don't have to be a sailor to like this book.
Brilliant, fantastic. You've inspired me now. It's like I live near water as well, and I don't. I just, I've never thought about it. The sailboats are where I live, but I don't think about it. But because we're having this conversation, I'm thinking, oh, right. So why aren't I
Yeah.
doing that? You become more aware when you talk to people about certain things. Oh, that's
Mhm.
brilliant. So there you go. That's the book, Sailing Away from the Devil. Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense. It's a good title, that. And then again, you can get that on Amazon, where Kerry will go into a lot deeper, more. What's the word? Did you say? What your mum? Saucy? Is that what it was?
It's saucy.
Saucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It puts the naughty in nautical.
yeah. So saucy. So there's a lot of that going on, but fantastic. Thank you so much, Kerry, for sharing your story with us. And
Thanks for having me on.
no, it's good. We'll do another one. I want to know about the shark attacks and all that. Next time you go on the boat, write another book, and I want to know about the sharks, the danger, the drama. We all like a little bit of drama as well. But again,
Chased by a shark twice,
have you?
actually. I'll tell you all about it. Yeah, next
So
time.
yeah, there's the next one. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is monsters at the sea, but again, the thing is, it makes you a better person. So again, thank you so much for that brief summary of your story. But yeah, that's great. Thank you. I'm trying to play around with my computer at the moment. Again, this video's not been edited, by the way, if you can't tell. And that's what we try to do. It's this, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. What you're hearing from Kerry, she's telling you how it is. She doesn't know what I'm going to ask her. I'm not trying to trip her up. You can tell she's genuine. She's confident. And if this is a middle-aged woman, right? A lot of middle-aged women would say, you wouldn't catch me on a boat on my own. No chance. But Kerry doesn't care. But why?
Just
But
don't care.
she don't care. But there's a reason why she doesn't care. And that's what you should be, carefree and careless. Is that right? That's right, isn't it? But yeah, thank you so much. And I'm just going to end this video when I find my button. I'm playing around at the same time. I'm multitasking, like, sailing a boat. I've got my little mouse here and I'm just bringing it to an end. But again, yeah, really appreciate that. Guys, thank you so much. Take care. Look after yourself. And hopefully we'll do a final part or a second part. There won't be a final part with Kerry and we can hear more about her wonderful adventures of the world and see what she gets up to. Take care.